Good morning, my dear students. We are continuing the discussion of the second chapter of the Civics for the class of 9th. The chapter name is What is Democracy? Why Democracy? Through the last class, we understood some of the features of the democracy and some of the simple definitions from that features we made. From that features and the definition we understood what is democracy. In the chapter name is what is democracy and why democracy? One more question is there in that chapter name. Today we want to answer the second question of that chapter's name. Why democracy? For understanding that, why most of the countries nowadays are following the democratic form of the government. That means some of the qualities that they have. That is why everybody is following that democratic form of the government. We want to understand that. We want to discuss why that most of the countries following the democratic form of the government. For that purpose, first of all, we want to discuss what are the arguments for the democracy and what are the arguments against the democracy. In other words, simply we can say that what are the advantages of the democracy and what are the disadvantages of the democracy. The disadvantages of the democracy, that means the argument against the democracy. The advantages of the democracy, that means the argument for the democracy. First of all, we want to understand. In the first time, we want to discuss the argument against the democracy. That means some of the disadvantages of the democracy we want to discuss first. The first one. In a democratic government, we can see one of the instability we can see that. In that period of the time, every 5 years, the democratic government conducting the election. Moreover, that there is a chance, possibility for changing the leaders because of the many reasons. That is causing for the instability. Democratic government is not stable. That is unstable because of changing the leaders in many times. That is causing by that. The second argument against the democracy is saying there is no scope for the morality. That we cannot see that. Because democracy is the after effect of the political competition and the power play. The muscle power and the money power. That is the result is the democracy. That is why in the democracy we cannot see that the morality because of the political competition and the power play. That is the second argument against the democracy. And the third one, it is saying that in a democratic form of the government, too much of the representatives and the members are there. For taking one of the decision, too much of the discussion is going there. That is why that is causing for the delay. Not possible to fast. That is one of the argument against the democracy. It is saying too many people consulted in the democracy. That leads the delay in the decision making. That is one of the disadvantages. Argument against the democracy. Fourth one, it is saying the elected members do not know what is the best interest of the people. What are the interests of the people? That is not known by that elected representative. After the election, they are going to the capital. After that, they are not coming to the constituency to meet the people. That is why the elected members do not know what are the best interest of the people. That is causing for bad decision, wrong decision. The fifth one, it is saying democracy leads to the corruption. In a society, we can see that in a democratic form, too much of the corruption is there. These are the argument against the democracy. We can see there when the countries are following the democratic form of the government. And some of the same time, many of the advantages we are getting from that democratic form of the government. The first advantages, the argument for the democracy is saying democratic form of the government is an accountable form of the government. It is an answerable government. When the government, after the formation of the government, that the government should be answerable to the public. That is why If any problem come to the society, the government want to give the answer. That is why we are saying that the democratic form of the government is an accountable form of the government. In other words, we can say that is an answerable government. That is one of the important quality of the democracy we are getting from the democratic form of the government. The second one improves the quality of the decision making. That is the best advantage of the democracy. Improves the quality of the decision making, because the democratic form of the government that is based on the consultation and the discussion. For taking any one of the decision, before that many of the consultations and the discussions are going in the parliament. After that the decision is taken. That is why that is improving the quality of the decision making. One of the important benefits we are getting from the democracy is that. Fourth one is saying that democracy deals the differences and the conflicts. One of the examples we are taking, India is a country, there had different languages, different regions, different religion, different culture we have. Like that different region, language, religion and culture in one country have, there is a possibility for the conflicts. Different ideas will be there. That is possible for the conflicts. One of the government, it's a democratic form of the government is provides one of the peaceful solution for that conflicts. Only in the democratic form of the government that is possible. In the non-democratic form of the government, it is not possible to make a peaceful solution for that conflicts and the differences. That is only possible in the democratic form of the government. One of the important advantage we are getting from the democratic form of the government is that. The next benefit of the democratic government, it is saying, democracy enhancing the dignity of the citizen. That democracy is based on the political equality. Everybody is getting the equality. One of the power is in the hands of the public here. The public is not happy, the government will be changed. That is why then we can say that the democratic form of the government is based on the political equality that enhances the dignity of the citizens. One more advantage of the democracy is saying democracy corrects its own mistake. Any mistake happen in the democratic form of the government, that the government is capable to correct that. Otherwise, the problem will come. That is why that leaders, the representative, maximum will correct that mistakes. That only in the democratic form of the government it is possible. The democracy corrects its own mistake. In a non-democratic government, they are not trying to correct their own mistake. They are continuing that. That only possible in the democratic form of the government. Democracy corrects its own mistakes. These are the qualities we can only see in the democratic form of the government, not in the non-democratic form of the government. That is why most of the countries nowadays following the democratic form of the government. This is the answer of why democracy. Thank you.